Coming soon to a city near you, Vinitaly Roadshow. Have you ever wondered how to attend Vinitaly for free? Are you a wine trade professional interested in a sponsored trip to Vinitaly International Academy or Vinitaly, the Wine and Spirits Exhibition? Coming soon to Princeton, New Jersey, Harlem, New York, and Chinatown in New York City, Cardiff in Wales, London in England, and Roost in Austria. We'll be giving away our new textbook, Italian Wine Unplugged 2.0. Find out more about these exciting events, and for details on how to attend, go to liveshop.vinitaly.com. Limited spots available. Sign up now. We'll see you soon.
Welcome to this special Italian wine podcast broadcast. This episode is a recording off Clubhouse, the popular drop-in audio chat. This Clubhouse session was taken from the Wine Business Club and Italian Wine Club. Listen in as wine lovers and experts alike engage in some great conversation on a range of topics in wine. If you enjoy listening, please consider donating through ItalianWinePodcast.com. Any amount helps cover equipment, production, and publication costs. And remember to subscribe and rate our show wherever you tune in.
Hello, everybody. My name's Stevie Kim, and this is the Italian Wine Club on Clubhouse. We've been doing this for, this particular show, which is called the Ambassador's Corner, about a year and then some. We are here with Clubhouse manager, Laika, and Joy is just right. She's really busy doing something. Our Italian Wine podcast producer. Oh, there she is. And today, our ambassador, our host for today's shows is Michele Longari. Ciao, Michele, come stai?
Stevie, how are you? I'm very well. Thank you for the invite.
Yeah, where are you?
So I am in Devon, England, UK.
You're
very
still in? Yeah.
Very close to Mark Millon, actually. Just
my goodness.
Yes.
Did you go see him? Did you meet him?
Yeah, I think it was a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, because I came back from a trip to Emilia-Romagna. So I brought him back from Parma a few things that I thought he would enjoy. So I went there, and actually, we are. It's very weird because I met him in London during my exams, and I discovered that he's just living like a few miles from me. It's,
that's crazy, right?
It is.
Serendipity. Listen, so for those who are unfamiliar, Mark Millon is also our Italian wine ambassador, but he's also a podcast host for Italian Wine Podcast. He does a daily show every Tuesday about Italian wine and travel. So you should check that out. He's very English. There's a little bit of Korean in him, but he's mostly English because he talks about the weather a lot. By the way, what's the weather like there now?
It's actually a lovely weather. I mean, I'm not sure British people are enjoying this weather because it's very like a continental climate, because it's freezing cold and with a lot of sun during the day. So actually I'm enjoying this because it's almost like being on the Dolomites. But the weather is changing this weekend, and things are going back to normal. So like
yucky.
Lot of rain. Yes, a lot of rain. Yeah.
So here it's actually quite cold and in Verona, and also raining as well. So it feels more like England today. So Michele is, of course, our newly acclimated Italian wine ambassador. He did the course at the Institute, where it was held, Institute of Masters of Wine. A small group, but a very good group. It was a bumper crop. And he was part of the newly acclimated, certified Italian wine ambassador. So, but how long have you been in England, Michele?
Almost 10 years, actually. I moved to the UK 10 years ago.
And what were you doing 10 years ago?
So back in Italy, back then, I was working as a software engineer. So it's something completely different, but I was always passionate about wine, and basically all my holidays were spent traveling around all the regions of Italy, discovering new wines and new food. So with the first, let's say, salaries from my job, I decided to started the professional course for sommelier with the Italian Sommelier Association. Just to learn something more about wine. I wasn't even 100% sure to take the final exams. But then, as you probably would expect, the more I was involved with wine, and the less I wanted to be involved with computers and coding. So
This
um,
happens to some of you folks when you get the wine bug, right?
yeah, I mean,
You
it's
drop everything from computer engineering to,
yeah. And so I moved to
Lambrusco specialist.
I moved to the UK 10 years ago to do a master program in wine business management. And then basically, while I was still writing my master dissertation, I got a job offer from Hay Wines, which is the company I work for today. And since then, I've been living here in the UK. Basically, I am purchasing director. So my main responsibilities within the company are to making sure that our portfolio is consistent and that basically we are always up to date in terms of the new trends or what consumers are asking. And in particular, I am responsible for our direct imports from Spain, France, and obviously Italy.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about Hay Wines.
Yeah, Hay Wines is a very small independent family-run business. It's based in Ledbury, Herefordshire, so actually very close to the border with Wales. And talking about Wales, the other very weird thing about the London exams is also that in London I met also Robert Maggi, that was obviously another ambassador that day, and actually he is very close to where the company is based, and I never met him, not even in tasting or trade tasting, and
But
I've
he's
been in touch.
based in Cardiff, right?
Yeah, he's in Cardiff, and basically when from Devon, when I go to the to A Wines, which is based up north, basically I always pass from Bristol, that is very close to Cardiff, and but I never met him, and like Mark Millen, so it was very weird. It was almost like a coincidence, but it was incredible, and it was very good to meet also Robert, because obviously he is very much focused on Puglia, and I didn't know a lot about Puglia, and spending more time with Robert was very helpful because he knows a lot about Puglia wines. And talking about a wines, yes, it's a small independent business. In total, we are 7 employees plus Jane and Chris, that are the company owners. And from the very beginning, I was very lucky because Jane and Chris gave me a lot of trust. So, for instance, the first project they gave me was to basically update our Prosecco portfolio. And I remember that we took back then a very brave choice to focus specifically on Valdobbiadene and Prosecco di OCG. And back then, Valdobbiadene was not as famous as it is today, but they gave me a lot of trust. And we were among the first, for instance, to import like Olfondo Prosecco or Cartizze, and it was very good. And the thing I really like about A-Wines is the fact that since Jane and Chris have also they have a different background. They were in the pharmaceutical industry. They started the business just out of passion. So there is not like the strategy is not like about profit or margin. It's more about making sure that we always have little gems or something very interesting to offer to our customers.
Okay, so we could talk about this all day, but we have to get on with the show. And I know you have chosen Marta Locatelli
Yeah,
from Tenuta di Angoris
yeah.
to be on the call today. Why did you choose Marta?
Well, it's actually, I think that the wines from Friuli Venezia Giulia are becoming more and more popular on the international markets, and I see this every day with my job. However, I think that this region has a level of complexity, both in terms of wine styles and culture and history, that requires a lot of study and focus in order to fully appreciate their wines. So, Tenuta d'Angoris is an historic producer of Friuli Venezia Giulia, and I think their wines and a good conversation with Marta will be able to give our listener a clearer view on the region's potential in terms of winemaking.
Okay. And as you know, we get a little bit geeky around here because for the VIA community, what are the learning objectives that we should expect from your call today?
Well, I think it's important that at the end of this session we get a better understanding of the traditional wine style and grape varieties of Friuli Venezia Giulia, and I think also what is very important is to get a clear understanding of three very important subregions of Friuli Venezia Giulia, which are the Isonzo Valley, the Colli Orientali, and obviously Collio, because they have specific characteristics and they are completely different. So I think that if at the end of this session we were able to get a clear understanding of just these three subregions, it will be a very good outcome.
Okay, excellent. So, Michaela, this is the moment where I leave you and I get to shut up, which, as you know, never happens. You know, right? So, and then I will mute myself, and so you can start the show, and I will come back towards the end of the shows to see if there are any questions.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Excellent.
Alrighty.
Thank you. Okay. Hi, Marta. How are you?
Hi, Michele. Hi, Stevie. I'm very fine, and thank you very much for this opportunity. Really.
Oh, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. So just I'm going to give a brief introduction of yourself. Obviously, you are Marta Locatelli, and you are the president of Tenuta di Angoris. Your background actually is in law because you graduated in law, but then you decided to combine your passion for wine with your deep interest in marketing and in particular for events. Tenuta d'Angori, as I mentioned before, is an historic producer of Friuli Venezia Giulia. And as I also mentioned before, one of the learning objectives of today is to get a better understanding of three main dock areas of Friuli Venezia Giulia, so Collio, Colli Orientali, and Friuli Isonzo. And so this is why basically I wanted to have a conversation with you. First of all, did I give a clear introduction or about yourself, or do you want to add something more?
No, it's okay. You told enough about us. The first important thing that we are very historical estate, a very historical winery, and then 17 years old, and so it's a very long time that we produce wine, and I think that is one of the oldest winery in all the Italy. And the DOC is very important because we are very big. We have a lot of hectares. We have near 600 hectares, and for the vineyard we have 85 hectares. And these hectares is inside the three DOC. What you said before, DOC Isonzo, DOC Collio, and DOC Colli Orientali. It's very important to have many kind of wine, many kind of quality of the wine, and the variety is really a lot.
Yeah, and I think that we could start our conversation. I think we need before that. I think we need to talk about a little bit about the history of Friuli Venezia Giulia and obviously of Tenuta d'Angori. And talking about history, I know that you have recently completed a very important publication together with Stefano Cosma, a book that actually has a very intriguing title that is Langoris, Storie di Vini e Cavalieri, so Langoris, Stories of Wines and Knights. Can you tell us a bit more about this important work and what are actually the most important and interesting things you found out while completing this research?
Sure. And thank you, Michele. This is very important for us. And for this reason, I would like to introduce my daughter. Her English is really, hi everybody, really better than mine. And for the first question, because it's the heart of our winery, the story, and the many things that begin in this period. And for the book, I thought that it's better that Giulia can explain in the short time what is the focus in this book, in this big story.
Yeah, of
Thank you.
course. Ciao, Giulia.
Okay, hello everyone. I'm very glad to be at this call. Angoris has, like my mother has just said, 370 years of family and culture history, which I will resume in the most relevant facts. So, Angoris was founded in 1648. It was a part of the Austro-Hungaric Empire, which Ferdinando III gave as a reward to Locatelli, which is the first owner of our family property. Since then, the property has always belonged to our family, so it has passed through generation. During the First World War, Locatelli's villa turned also into a military hospital residence for helping the injured warriors. So it had many functions over the years. The first thing that we discovered during the research of the book was the name Langoris, which in Italian means a big land. Langoris has born in the 16th century during the age of chivalry, as you were saying before, knights and culture. But the curious thing here is that the Italian culture relates the term knight not just to meanings of strength and courage, but also of kindness, elegance, and rescuing the poor people. So it has a really deep and, in my opinion, beautiful meaning. That's it.
Yes, thank you, Giulia. It's very beautiful because Cavalieri, Storie Divini e di Cavalieri. Cavalieri is the person, the property inside this estate. And the style of this person is to help the worker and to give some land, to give the house, so everybody can work in the more in better conditions, you know, in situation more better than before. And this is the reason because we introduced the word cavalieri. Another important thing in the book is that the family Locatelli was only the only property. You know, this is very particular because it's a long time that Locatelli family in many generations was the only owner. The name of Locatelli is very close to this land. Is very close to Langoris winery. This is very particular for me.
Yeah, and actually, I always, since I discovered your story, I always thought it was incredible the fact that obviously the name Locatelli was a name that actually kept going on during the centuries, because it's something quite unusual, and it's very unlikely that you have this consistent presence of the same family, in particular because obviously Friuli Venezia Giulia had a very complicated history. If we think about all the different reigns and people that came, and then obviously during World War One was a region that was deeply affected. And I remember also, correct me if I'm wrong, that Villa Locatelli, that is basically your villa in the estate,
Yes.
during World War One was used as
Yes.
an hospital. Is it correct?
Yes, was an hospital, and one of the particular thing is the
Vittorio Emanuele, the king of Italy, come to visit this hospital. This is what we found into the research, and come to visit the military, and it was great because we have pictures that Vittorio Emanuele come inside the villa in the park, because around is a very big park, a secular park, and it's one of the most emotional, Giulia, yeah, emotional thing that I found I researched during my research.
Yeah, I agree. Actually, the fact that your villa was used as a military hospital, and that obviously the King of Italy came to visit your villa, is something that, combined with the even more ancient history of your estate, is something quite unique. Um, okay, thank you very much, Marta and Giulia. I think this introduction was really necessary to give our listener a better understanding of the important role that Tenuta di Angoris had in the history of your region, and the very deep roots that Tenuta di Angoris has in your region. I think now we shall finally move to the core of our conversation, that obviously is wine. And first of all, can you tell us what are the main grape varieties grown in your estate? And generally speaking, how would you describe the style of your wines?
Okay, thank you. Yes, you said before that we have three DOC. I can explain it like this. In the lowland, we produce variety international, like Pinot Grigio and Sauvignon. And this is two principal wine that we have in the lowland. In the hill, DOC Collio and DOC Colli Orientali, you can find a more indigenous wine that Michele, that is very, very important now, because the market is asked for this kind of wine. And in Friuli, the indigenous is Friulano, Ribolla Gialla, Schioppettino, red, very particular, very fun red wine, Pignolo and Refosco. And the particularity of my wines are in three words I can explain. Michele, we have a white, but also the red wine with a lot of acidity and with a lot of minerality. And I think that one of the most important characteristics that we have is purity, because our wine is really elegant and clean. This is because we try to use the traditional method with the modern technical. So we use both the way to have a really tradition, but also purity and elegant wine. It's very, very interesting, because when you taste, you feel that it's Friulano, you feel that it's Ribolla Gialla, but you feel also the clean inside and the great, great minerality, and you can drink more because the acidity and the minerality can drink more wine than just one glass. This is
Yeah,
very,
no,
very,
absolutely.
very
And
important.
it is, it is obviously very important, in particular for people doing our job, which is selling wine. If wine is very easy to drink, is obviously much, much better for people doing our job. And I must say that I totally agree with your um, uh, with how you described your wines, because I think that from the let's say the wines from the Isonzo to the wines from Colli Orientali and Collio, I think all
Yes.
your wines have in common this very high acidity, incredible freshness. Obviously, there is also elegance, and drinkability is very important. And I totally understand what you mean when you say that you're trying to combine traditional winemaking with modern techniques. Because I think, I don't know if you would agree, but I would say that the perfect example of this is, for instance, the Pinot Grigio you have in the Angoris range, so from Colli Orientali, where actually you started to make it with the Ramato winemaking, which is actually how Pinot Grigio was always made in your region, which is not like Pinot Grigio blush or rosé, is not completely white, is Ramato, so copper in color. And I remember the first time I tried the Pinot Grigio in Ramato version with you. I was very impressed because I think is exactly what you just described. So the fact that there is this very traditional winemaking, but made in a very modern and easy drinking style.
Yes, yes, it's true. I think this is the only way for the wine now. And the different that you said from the low from DOC Isonzo and the DOC Collio Orientali, the difference is that in the flat area, in the land, in the area, you find very fresh wine. Also, the red is drinkable and fresh, and no so high graduation, like graduation, not so high. It's still uh, 11, 11 and a half, 12 for the red. And in the hill, like Pinot Grigio that you said, we have more structured, more intense wine, the white, and the red is aging wine. So we can produce like Pignolo. If I don't know if you know that Pignolo is very difficult to find this variety in Friuli. We have just 1 hectare, and we produce this wine for a traditional method. So 4 years in the tonneau and 2 years in the bottle. So it's a very particular aging red wine. And this wine, we have the grapes on the hill, DOC Colli Orientali. So the difference is that the hill give us a very complex white and red wines. And the low area give us a crispy and freshness wine, easy to drink, and you can drink in many way, not only for eat but for the aperitif. And this is very important because it's not two different wine, it's two different kind to drink.
Italian Wine Podcast, brought to you by Mama Jumbo Shrimp.
Yeah, absolutely. And I must say that I notice this every day since we obviously, as Hay Wines, have been importing your wines for, I think, 5 or 6 years now. I always noted that the different wines you have between the Isonzo, Colli Orientali, and Collio, they have completely different styles and actually are able to target different kind of consumers, which I always thought was from a strategic point of view, something very important and actually very difficult to find. And talking about your focus on quality and let's say all the winemaking process, I know that in the last few years you have invested a lot of resources on quality control and traceability. So basically, you made huge improvements to your chemical analysis lab, and a lot was also done in order to make sure that you had strict control over the production process, from basically vineyard management to the bottling process. Can I ask you why did you decide to focus on these specific activities, and what kind of results were you able to achieve?
Thank you, Michele. This is very, very important for us, and I think for the clients. Between the the winery and the clients, it's very important that born a good relation, and it's very important that the client can find in the wine all the descriptions that he needs, that they need. And for this reason, we invest in the cellar, and we invest also in many technical for produce the wine. And one of the most important thing that you can find in Angoris is that we have all the chain, la filiera produttiva, the chain product wine, all the chain inside the winery. So the grape, from the grape to the bottle, from the grape to the glass. And we have inside all. And the laboratory is very important because our winemaker do the analysis and decide when is the time to harvest, and we decide. And it's important the imbottigliatrice, how I can I mean imbottigliatrice, because we have the possibility to introduce our wine in the bottle after the time that we decide. So the traceability is important, and you can do, I think, only in a state similar to Angoris, when you find all the chain productions wine inside. And this is honesto, is honest for the client, because for every questions that they have, we have an answer.
Yeah,
And
I think it's a very important point, Marta, because obviously um, nowadays it's very difficult to manage an estate like Angoris without the need of outsourcing any kind of activities. And it's very difficult to do everything with its own staff. So I totally agree. Something very important is also is something that I think gives a very clear idea on how much is important for you that your wines are able to describe and depict basically your ideas. So the fact that you don't want to outsource anything is also because in this way you are able to have everything under your control, and you are able to make sure that when the wines are in the bottle is exactly the kind of expression you wanted.
and you know that in this way you find the quality, because the quality is this, is the control, is the traceability. And the quality is not only is very, very important, the quality of the wine, but also for us, for our wine is very important, the health, the health
Yeah.
for productions. And another thing that we received from 10 years ago, the certificate for the sustainability winery. And this is a very, very hard work, but we believe that the sustainability in the winery, the sustainability in the cellar, and the sustainability also for the price is one of the most important thing for your products, for my products.
Yeah, absolutely. And Marta, going back to the three DOC that actually you are making in Tenuta d'Angori, so the Friuli Isonzo, the Friuli Colli Orientali, and obviously Collio. Could you please tell us what are the most important characteristics and also the main differences of these three sub-regions, sub-zones?
Okay, thank you, Michele. The different is the terroir, because we are very close the Isonzo is far from Collio, Orientali, 10 kilometers. But in this short, this very close, but it's completely different terroir. And Isonzo, you find fluviale, terreno fluviale, river
River's
terroir.
land.
River's land, yes, because it is the land that Isonzo, the river from the Isonzo area, live. So there are a lot of stones and many dry, it's very dry land. And this is the reason, because you find very crispy and fresh wine, because the land is fluviale, the origine fluviale. And the hill, you have a volcanic soil. The name is Ponca, is another thing, is very different. You mean that you can taste the white Chardonnay that we, that we have Chardonnay Spiule and we make in DOC Colli Orientali. You can taste our Chardonnay. It's very similar to the Chardonnay you can find in the south of Italy because it's volcanic. So the soil is very heavy and give many substance to the plant. And so the wine is full of body, very intense, and the graduation is high. You know that the white on the hill that we produce in the hill have 15 degrees. So it's very strong wine, and the red also.
Yeah, it's. I think that for one thing that I found very interesting the first time I tried all your wines was that obviously if you do a tasting and you start from the wines from Isonzo and then you go up Colli Orientali and then Collio, it's incredible how different they are. So they taste like wines that come from completely different regions. And actually, when I visited you, actually the vineyards of the Isonzo and the Colli Orientali are just maybe 10-15 minutes by car. But in just 10-15 minutes by car, you are able to get a level of a difference that is just incredible. And I think what you just said is very important. The main difference is obviously the type of soil, where in this also we have these fluvial sediments, while on the hills, Colli Orientali and Collio is mainly volcanic and Ponca. And there is a difference in soil and microclimate in just a matter of a few miles, which gives a lot of complexity to the range of wines you are offering. I always thought that this was very, very interesting for wine enthusiasts. And you just touch about your Spiole Chardonnay, which is actually one of the wines that is in your Riserva Giulio Locatelli range. The Riserva Giulio Locatelli range is, I think, a quintessential expression of your own terroir and also your history. Can you tell us a bit more about the 4 wines included in this range, and what do they represent for you at a personal level?
I wanted to dedicate for a special type of wine called, as you said, Riserva Giulio Locatelli. Not just to make a different kind of a special kind of wine, but also to remember his legacy, which represents for us a beautiful perspective of the wine production, and especially his concepts of seeing the wine connected to the expression natural of Mother Earth, which is a very romantic way of seeing the wine production on my point of view, in a personal level, as you said.
You know, Michele, that Giulio it was my grandfather, and it was grandfather to Giulia. And for us to remember him is really important because he gives to us really a lot. So this for wine is for him, and I think that probably is for lucky wines because we receive many graduations, many certificates, and this is very,
awards.
yes, awards. We receive many awards, and it's for fantastic wine. But you said before, and I'm really happy that you think this for a Riserva Giulio
Yeah, I
Locatelli.
mean it's I think is a range of wine that is very interesting because obviously, as you mentioned, you have the Spiole Chardonnay, which is the Chardonnay that has almost like a level of saltiness to it. It's very mineral, a lot of like a almost salty character. Then you have obviously your Collio that has been winning the Tre Bicchieri Gambero Rosso for many years and is consistently at the top in terms of some of the best Italian white wines. And then obviously you have the Merlot, the Ravosto, which is like a very powerful and strong Merlot. And then the Pignolo. The Pignolo, as you said, is I think a little gem, very difficult to find because Pignolo is a late ripening variety. It's very difficult to grown Pignolo, and in the past a lot of people decided to avoid using Pignolo because it was just very difficult, and you are among the few that still have an authentic Pignolo. And in addition to this range of wines, which I think are unmissable for wine lovers to try at least once, one of the latest addition to your catalog was a wine that I think combines great character and a lot of finesse and elegance. I'm talking about obviously the Pinot Nero Albertina. Um, do you believe that the Pinot Nero as a great variety can play a more important role in the coming years for the Friuli Venezia Giulia wine industry?
Okay, Michele, thank you because Albertina is we needed to give a little introduction because Albertina is dedicated to my grandmother, the wife of Giulio, and because the characteristics, the elegance and the strongness is the same characteristics that my grandmother has. So we have one wine for my grandmother and four for my grandfather. This is really important. I think that is a type of wine which has not a definite identity. Our Pinot Noir is elegant, is fresh, no oaks, but you can produce in many ways. And for this reason, I cannot answer, Michele, to your question. I cannot answer yes or no because there are many kind of many ways that you can produce the Pinot Noir. So you can taste a different Pinot Noir, and this wine don't have a one identity, only one identity, especially in Friuli Venezia Giulia. Probably in Trentino, Alto Adige, you can find one kind of Pinot Noir, but in Friuli there are a lot, and I don't know if could be important or a principle or important wine for Friuli Venezia Giulia.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that the level of diversity of Pinot Nero you can have in Friuli Venezia Giulia is at the same time a strength and a weakness. It's obviously a strength because you are able to taste many different styles and versions of Pinot Nero, but then it's also a weakness because probably for wine consumers it's difficult to understand what is the Friuli Venezia Giulia Pinot Nero, what is a specific style. Nevertheless, I think that when you introduced the Pinot Nero Albertina, I think was very, very interesting. And in particular, obviously, working in an international market like the UK market, where obviously Pinot Nero, Pinot Noir is a very, very important variety and very popular, it was great to have our customer try a Pinot Nero from Friuli Venezia Giulia, which was something quite unique. And I think that the fact that you decided to go for a very fresh, light style was a winning choice, because obviously avoiding oak, you were able to retain a lot of the freshness, acidity, and the beautiful fruity character of Pinot Nero. And yeah, this is why I wanted to ask you the question, because I think it's potentially a great variety that, I mean, it's a big question mark, but potentially is a great variety that can give a lot to Friuli Venezia Giulia and yes, your estate in particular. So we there are.
You know that this is one of my favorite wine in absolute Pinot Noir.
Yeah, I know. I remember when I came to visit you for Voci di Vigneto, your event after the harvest. I remember that when you described the Pinot Nero, you were very, very, very passionate, and I could tell that Pinot Nero was one of your favorite varieties. And I must say that it must be very nice for you to have that kind of wine within your portfolio now. I want to leave a few minutes to question for Stevie or the listener. So I have a couple of very quick questions for you, and then I will leave the word to Stevie. So, as you know, the 2022 edition of Wine to Wine took place last month in Verona, and it was a fantastic event. It was the first time after the pandemic that was like an in-person event, and the topic of the business forum was wine communication. My question to you is, as a company's director, and with your experience in marketing and events, you have always given a lot of importance to international market and the export markets. From your direct experience, could you tell us what are the three most important, let's say, words or adjectives to be used when communicating and promoting Italian wine abroad? So I'm not talking about specifically to Friuli Venezia Giulia, but more in general when you need to promote Italian wine abroad on the export markets. What do you think from your experience are the three most important words to be used?
Okay, Michele, very, very short. Three words. There are identity for me, history, and a good balance from quality and price.
Yeah, it's. I think it's. You cover very important area, because obviously identity is what describes better Italian wine, and I think part of the job of Italian wine ambassador is to be able to share this kind of identity to the consumers all around the world. And the last question to you is something that I wanted to ask you, because obviously I know that you are very much committed on marketing and events, and so web and social media, PR and press, wine tourism and hospitality. So these are three big marketing channels. If you were given, for example, enough resources, time, money to be invested on only one of these three marketing channels, what would you do and why?
Okay, for me, the best thing that I can do is only one, is tourism, wine tourism, and hospitality. Because in this way you can give not only a taste, not only a glass of wine, but very interesting emotions, and people can remember you for many, many times.
Yeah, it's. I think is the answer I was probably expecting. In particular, for the fact that I know how much is important for you that people and customers are actually visiting your estate and visiting also the region. And I totally agree. I think that hospitality and wine tourism is something very important for Italian wine in general, but even more important for Friuli Venezia Giulia, because as I mentioned at the very beginning, Friuli Venezia Giulia, I think, is a region that has a very complex culture and history. And even if it's a small region, the level of complexity in just a matter of miles is huge. So actually, the only way to get a clear understanding of your region and then obviously your wine, I think, is by visiting your winery, your estate, the vineyards, spending a bit time, and that's the best thing that actually people can do. Okay, so I am done with my question. Thank you very much, Marta and Giulia. Stevie, I will leave the room for you if
This
you
is
have any
where
other
I get
questions.
to say hello. Excellent. Thank you very much. You understand now why Michele has become our Italian wine ambassador. He's incredibly thorough in doing the deep dive here with his guest today. So Marta, ciao Marta.
Ciao, Stevie. Ciao.
Ciao. So I have a question. What I always ask is basically, can you give us, and I know that you did the very specific questions with Michele, can you just give us an overview of how many wines you have and the volume of production?
Okay. Thank you.
So
Yes.
how many,
How many
how many
kind? How many
labels?
kind? Yes.
Yeah. And also
We
the number of bottles you produce.
we have in totally 20 kinds of wine,
I
and
thought so.
a lot, yes, a lot,
Yes.
because we have a lot of vineyard and we have a lot of grapes, different grapes, and this
So
is
how many hectares? How many hectares do you have?
85, but
Mhm.
now we plant more 10 hectares, so until 100.
Right, you're getting towards 100 now,
Yes.
which is quite large, right?
Six and a half hundred bottles.
6 and so 6 million bottles?
600 and a half.
Uh, oh, 650,000.
A thousand, yes, thousands.
Okay,
Sorry.
650,000
Yes,
bottles.
sorry,
Yeah, just
Stevie.
to get an idea. And so tell us a little bit about the different lines you have.
The line we have,
Diverse serie.
yes, we have two lines. The line, the first one's name is Villa Locatelli, because
Mhm.
the vigna is close to the villa, and this line comes from land area. So it's the wine that are more fresh, more drinkable. And the second line is the line that the name is Angoris, like the name of our estate. And this wine come from the hill, and so it's a different line because, like I said before, it's more structured and it's more better for compare with the food.
Okay. So how what would you consider your signature wine if you were to choose one? And I know the producers hate this question because they're like all of your children, right? All of the different wines. You have 20. You feel like they're all your children. But if you were to choose one representative wine for your company, Angoras, which wine would it be and why?
Yes, yes. Thank you for this question. For me, the wine that we have in Friuli, one of the best, not only for me but for many producers, is the Friulano.
Mm-hmm.
You remember that the name
Tokai,
before?
right? Yeah, it
Yes,
was
was
Tokai.
Tokai. The
Mm-hmm.
Friulano, especially from Colli Orientali or Friulano from Collio, is very particular. Is seems like aromatic a little bit, So it seems like Sauvignon, but more stronger. And you feel like, how can I say, Michele, pietra focaia, like fumé, like
Flint.
yes, yes.
And can I also add the gunpowder, which is always when
Mm-hmm.
I always try your Friulano, it always smells like gunpowder. It's like incredible. And Flint, yes.
Flint. And another reason is because the vigna up on Rocca Bernarda is DOC Colli Orientali is very, very old. Our vigna, Friulano vigna, is from the end of the Second World. And so we have a very, very old plant that give us a strong, very strong, intense white wine.
Okay, and you make that both in Angoris and Locatelli line. Is that correct?
Is very correct, yes, but it's two different Friulano. Like I said, the Locatelli is a Friulano for everybody, okay?
Okay.
For
Yeah. That's
the first step to the Friulano.
mm-hmm.
So when you want to introduce this kind of wine, it's best to begin to the Friulano Villa Locatelli, and the second is particular. It's very particular. So probably we produce not so many bottles for Friulano Colli Orientali, but it's good so because it's not so commercial.
Okay. First of all, Marta, your English is fine. So you don't have to be afraid of speaking because you express yourself and we completely understand you. Having said that, I know you have a daughter, you said, Julia. Is she also working with your company? And are there other family members working in your company?
Okay. Yes, he tried to begin. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
Julia.
How old is
Yeah,
she?
yeah, I'm 21 and I'm starting to working with her, especially in the commercial areas. So I can also travel. And last summer we went to Barcelona to do a little journey, and yeah, it's really beautiful. It's a beautiful world of working, and I'm enjoying it a lot. For travel, it's better the young. It's very hard to travel around, and you know that for and Michele know better than me that if you want to sell the wine, you have to go, you have to travel, and you have to explain directly the quality and to taste together.
Okay. And do you have other family members working with you?
Yes, now I am inside with my sister and my
Mm-hmm.
father and my brother. And the
And
fourth,
how are the
and
different
Julia is
roles? How
the
how do you divide, like working in a family? What is
yes.
that like?
Okay, I'm the amministratore,
Okay.
The boss.
the boss.
You're the boss.
My sister is Italian commercial,
Okay, she deals with the Italian market.
Italian market,
Mm-hmm.
and my brother is in the agriculture because 600 hectare that I said before is only 100 vigna. The rest is agriculture, is
Mm-hmm.
corn, is nuts, is a lot of
Oh, so you're
yes.
doing other farming.
Yes, yes.
Oh,
And my
wow.
father look how we can do if we do well or not and
So
decide.
he's the conductor of the orchestra,
Yeah, he's
Yes.
very worried.
but he's still active. He's still working in the company.
He's still like mm, representing the ideas that he wants us to carry on
Mm-hmm.
in the estate, but unfortunately his physical condition cannot give him the strength to work.
Sure, sure, I understand. So listen, it was very nice to listen to you and get to know your family a bit. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Michele. You know, we're doing a little, maybe perhaps something in February in your area, so we're going to reach out to you personally. later with through Manuela, Michele. So we'll
Absolutely.
talk. Yeah, we'll talk about that. I'm going to bring back on Laika. Ciao, Laika.
Ciao, Stevie.
Okay, so tell us what else is going on. We're nearing the end of the year, but I know this wasn't the very last show before the holidays, right?
Yeah.
You're
So
going to make me work
this
a
is
little
the
bit
last
more.
one. No, this is the last one, I'm sure. So we've got Jamie. She's actually here in the audience.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, she's new on Clubhouse, so you see the icon there.
Oh, great.
Yeah, and then she's going to interview Valeria Acosta of Palmetto Costanzo.
Okay, and
So
when is
that's
this
December
happening?
20. Yeah, the
Oh,
last
that's next
one of
week.
the year.
Okay,
Yeah.
excellent. Welcome, Jamie. I see your party hat. Also, Marta had a party hat. So thank you for coming onto Clubhouse. And I hope to see you soon. Buone feste a tutti. Ciao, ragazzi.
Happy Christmas.
Arrivederci.
Bye. Ciao.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
Swirl, sniff, sniff, sip, sip, and swirl. Once again.
Listen to the Italian Wine Podcast wherever you get your podcasts. We're on SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Himalaya FM, and more. Don't forget to subscribe and rate the show. If you enjoy listening, please consider donating through ItalianWinePodcast.com. Any amount helps cover equipment, production, and publication costs. Until next time, cin cin.